that's it, guys. We got the whole thing apart. I'm gonna probably just have to sit down and assess what to do with all this mess. More than likely, I'll just take everything out and clean it with gas. The one thing I'm a little skeptical on is the crank because of the seals. It does have something that feels like a rubber seal in between each piston, or each connecting rod or whatever. So I don't know. I might have to try to find somebody that rebuilds these. Yeah, just showing everything so that way if I can't figure it out later, I'll be able to see how I took it all apart. There's all the stuff. There's all the pieces we took off already. Some of our covers, head, some more covers, and the dynamo, generator, and our cylinders. So ideally what I would like to see happen is I would like to get the case halves all emptied and get everything taken off. Oh, one more thing. I actually am going to have to cut the shift shaft before I can get it out. This one's bent. It's hard to tell, but it actually kind of has a little bit of a bend to it. So there's some on eBay, so I can't pull this out because it'll mess up the case when I try to get it through there. It's actually getting bound on that when I pull it through. And I gave it some love taps with a hammer, and I could tell it's not just going to damage the seal, but it might accidentally crack one of these little pieces that it goes through. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and start cleaning. And basically, I just got a ton of parts that are all here in this tub that all just need to be gone through. Either like replaced or cleaned. Like the pistons, I'll probably need to get new piston sets. And if they don't come with the bearings and the washers and the wrist pin, then I'll just have to clean all those and measure them. This is the one thing that I'm a little weary of, is this little oil distribution spider thing. I can clean that out, and people online say use brake cleaner to clean them out. Seems a little weird to use old vinyl, but whatever. If I can't find it, that's what I'll have to do. So all in all, this project feels a lot tougher than any of my other projects. It's a two-stroke motor, but it feels a lot tougher than a usual two-stroke. And not just because mine's a rusty turd, but there's just a lot of different components between the oil injectors everywhere, 3 cylinders. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is probably going to make the bike run well, but also makes it really a little bit more challenging to do on your own in your garage. parts in here that we need to get off, and I need to do it on regular speed so that way when I put it back together I know where the heck everything went. So here's our oil pump set up. Next we're going to take out our water pump stuff. So kind of running short on Ziploc baggies. Will that fit in there? Let's take it off and find out. Yep. Okay, and we're also going to put that key that goes to the tachometer and the water pump thingy in that bag. Except I think what we're going to do, we're going to put that in its own bag. Like that. Put that into that bag. You know, just trying to find ways so we don't lose this stuff. Okay, the water pump we're going to have to take out via the other side, I believe. And, well, I guess I might as well take this out since he wants to come out. So when we put this back in, there's a hole here. It goes on this dowel right here. And there's also a dowel right here that goes on that hole. So hopefully those things don't come out. And I'm going to put this over on my workbench where it's clean. Let's get some magnets. Let's see if any of these are going to come out. Yep. So one dowel from there. 2 dowels. So Kickstarter has 2 of these dowels. And those we'll put with the Kickstarter. Okay, next up we're going to do the transmission stuff. I'm going to get a box to put those in. Is that wide enough? Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay, we'll take this side out first. Okay, looks like the bearing will just slide off that side and that side. So put that in there. We got 2 of these seal clippy half moon jiggers, the jigger bobbers. Okay, so we're going to put those in a bag. So the small one goes over here on the clutch side, the bigger one goes over here on the shifter lever and the sprocket side. Okay, got the same thing. We got a bearing that can come off and a bearing that can come off. And then we got 2 of these seal, I don't know what these are called. I know what they do, I just don't know what they're called. And we're going to put those in Ziploc bags. This is the opposite. We got the bigger ones on this side, on the clutch side. And we got the smaller one down here on the sprocket side. Okay, so what we're going to do to avoid confusion, to avoid Confucius, is we're going to call that one 2. Okay. And this other one, the first one we took out, we're going to call 1. Okay, and that should help us. All of that issue. Get another box for the Kickstarter. A bit of a box hoarder. Now that I got the eBay store, I kind of have to. All right. So that's just really leaving us all of the shifter stuff. So we're going to have to cut the shift shaft out because it's never going to get out. So looks like we're going to need to just get out the grinder and hope we don't set shit on fire. Get you over on that side, buddy. Yuck, look at all that. Alright, so this is going to be the worst sounding thing you've ever heard. So just be prepared. It's going to get freaking loud. Super loud. I'm going to assume that there was something happened to turn the mic down magically, because that freaking hurts my ears. A little lesser known fact about Lyle is my least favorite tool is the angle grinder, after I almost cut off my own thumb with it back in 2012, I believe, 2013. It was actually December 31st of 2012. No, December 31st of 2013, because it was the day my daughter was born on. Anyways, tried moving the shield with the thing running. It sucked my thumb in. Anyways, sometimes you gotta use them though. It's kind of a shame to have to cut that little piece, but that's just what it is, you know. Alright, well, we got that out. Now we can get over here. We can take out all of the little shift selector assembly, and then we can get the forks out. So what I'm going to need from you guys is to get over here, so that way we can see this better. Damn it. About like right there. Let me zoom in a little. There we go. Okay, we got 2 forks here that appear to be the same, except this one has like an S and a 1 on it. This one has an S and a 1 on it. And this one has a little circle with like a Phillips looking symbol on it. I don't know if that's going to help any. Nope. This one has like an iron, kind of like a chevron, Chevy symbol actually. Chevrolet symbol. This one's got, yeah, that one has like a little Phillips plus sign on it. And this one's got the 1S. 1S. Chevy symbol. Phillips plus symbol. I've also got some little weird roller thing here. We got it's hooked to a spring. Spring down there hooked up. Oil line from there to there. This does look like this has been taken out. Okay, so let's get out the screwdriver and maybe these will just come out magically on their own. Nope. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. We got ways to make them want to come out, don't we? That one's definitely stripping. We just need to get this one. See it anymore? We got all 4 of the little convex screws out. This little piece here comes out looking like that. Came off of there. This side also has one. Looks like that. And then we got our whole mechanism that I just didn't do right and let fall apart. Great. Whatever. So in here you got a spring, a dowel, that has a flat and a curved side. So we need the flat side to go in, obviously. And then there's this piece, which looks like that little flat spot is going to go up against our little dowel. And now we have a little spring-loaded apparatus for our selector. When it came out with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left and the 3 on the right. So it's going to get put in that way. Let's go ahead and let's get a zip tie. And let's see if we can't kind of save this thing's position. So I'll get that started a bit. Kind of hold them in. Okay, so we got that little piece out. These little monkeys out. So let's go ahead and let's put everybody in some baggies before we lose stuff. So we're going to put but not with all that on there. Now let's cut some of that off. Jeez, that went to the other side of the shop. Okay, so that put in there. That put in there. That put in there. And then we'll get a little tiny bag for all of our hardware. Put all of that together. Just like that. Okay, now we should be able to start to take out these dowels that the forks are riding on. And then once we get those dowels out, then we should be able to get the drum out. Okay, so let's really get in here. Make sure we're getting this so everybody at home can follow along with your own builds. Assuming this is what you guys are watching this for. So let's revisit what we saw. We got SI or IS, I don't know. That's the first one with the letters facing that way. And then this next one, it has a letter D and it has that chevron. And they're facing in like this, so they both have their long parts and short parts the same way. So we'll take this dowel out, we'll just put those back in the way that they came out, right? Set those aside. Now down here, this one's gonna be a little tougher because we got this spring that's lassoed to this. So the spring's gonna have to come off of there. Can we just do that? No. No, we can't. And I have to get around you somehow. Holy shnikes. Things just have to happen. Like this wire that's hanging here keeps wanting to touch me in the crotch. Don't. Just leave me alone. Alright, what was I even doing? Spring, right? Can we get this guy under here just to do it for us? Without hurting the spring? There we go. Okay. Now everybody's all freed up and ready to party. As we're taking this guy off right here, take note that this went on there, right? So if we were putting this back on, we'd be putting this in, we put this fork in, and this fork had the Chevy and the J and nothing. So the Chevy and the J were on the clutch packet side. So if we're putting this back together, we push the dowel through, and then we don't put the spring up right now, but we're going to put this little wheel into those little grooves there, like so. Right, and then that goes through, and then we would take the spring and hook the spring back up. Make sense? Okay, that's how we're putting it back together. We're taking it off though right now. It's coming off. How? Like that. How is this fork coming off? What did we have? A J and a Chevy symbol. Sponsored by Chevy. I don't know. Okay, and then we'll take our dowel out and we'll just run them through just like that. So we have both of our fork sets just like they need to go back in. That way if this ends up being in a few months or whatever, it's not going to be hard to remember. Alright, I do have to get a bag for that though. I don't want to set that down in the dirt that way. Later I can just clean that with some gasoline. What's that? Somebody's out there saying that gasoline is bad and dangerous? Yeah, I know. That's why I do it. This is definitely not going to work. Okay, do we have any? We do, but it's dirty. Screw it. I'm gonna have to wash them anyways, huh? Okay. Next up, we got our drum here. That should, I think, just be able to come out. I don't know though. Did I break it? Who knows? Goodness, there's some filth in there, huh? See all that? Oh, these fit the snack bags perfectly. So don't forget your snack bags for those. And alright, we got a bearing here. Is this just not going to come out? Is it pressed? I don't know. Alright, so I think next we're going to try and see if we can't get the crank out. I have given it a tug already and it didn't want to budge. So is there something that I need to undo? I don't know why. Never heard of something locking the crankshaft down. But you know what we could do? Let's just get out a rubber mallet or a dead blow and get you guys out of the way before I hurt you. Well, I never. Really don't want to take it out onto this gross stuff, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. This hose is just getting in my way. There we go. Goodness gracious. We just put that right in all of that damn dirt, didn't we? Gosh damn it. Oh, that stinks. Okay, so let's get that wiped off a bit. Good news is we're almost through this dirty phase. This is one of my least favorite parts, when everything is super grimy and dirty. I just don't really want this all over my garage and all over my clothes. Yeah. I've got a little O-ring right here. Let's not forget that when we put it back together. You see where that came from? Right here. I think that's going to be where that, right behind the starter water spigot was. Maybe. Who knows? Okay. Thinking this is going to get us this guy out of here. And we do need that guy out of here. So let's go ahead. Let's switch over to, looks like a 10 mil. Huh. They're already over here. So that's fun. Something tells me that didn't do anything. That did nothing to further our expedition into the unknown. There's got to be some way to get this whole apparatus out of here. Oh, well that's broke. Huh. Okay, well we don't need that in there anymore since it's broken. Let's get a 8 mil and see if we can get that out of there. Okay, everybody at home, let's all try to remember that this is broken. Okay? And when we put it back together, we'll have the right one if we remember that. So there's a little barbed eyelet. And the barb broke off of that side. And where was it going, you ask? It was down here. Going from the water pump down to this little nipple down here. So, that's no bueno. All right. We got some dowels here I couldn't get out. We'll just have to hope that Mr. Machinist can do that for me. And then I don't really know what to do about this. Is that something I should tap a little? No? These are the parts that I am currently most worried about. I don't know how to get this out. I feel like it's just rusted in there. And I also feel like if I don't get it out, it's not going to pump right because it's got some play. So I feel like it might get water up inside of there. I also feel like this probably is supposed to come out easily, and it's not. The cover was broken right here, as we found out earlier, and I don't know what that's for. So, well, while I got you here, we're taking this out. It's got a spring and a BB or something in it. Oh, it's a little locator thing for the transmission. Okay, so we need to get that out of there. Okay, we got cap, spring, and a locator dowel. Came out of that hole. Let's see what's behind door number 2. Looks like Mr. Oil Drain Plug. Yep. Okay. I think the last thing I'm going to take off of this is I'm going to try to get this There we go. Did you guys see that? That just pops out of there, and that's what's holding that. And then we probably need to get these off too. These are just rubber lines. Okay, before I go and mess this all up, this rubber line here went here, and it's like that long. Okay, this one went here, and that tool shot on the floor right there. And then this one with the springy dingy went over here to the middle. Yikes. So that's where they all went. Okay. Now, am I supposed to be taking those nipples out? I don't know. We got this rubber plug that went in here, and the rubber lines all together. So let's keep them together. And where did my tool go that I just dropped? Oh, great. It's going forever here. How do things, when you drop them, go so far away? Oh, here he is, way over here. Yeah. Welcome back. Okay. So we're just going to present that to the shop like that and hope that's good. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take it and they're going to do a hot bath, hot soak, and hopefully it'll get all this grease and grime off. Maybe some of this other crap off too, like this gasket that's seized on here, it feels like. Great. Oh, they use RTV. Great. You know, I kind of just hoped that it was just a little dollop. But no. It's everywhere. Oh. Yeah, look at that. When has that ever happened that fast? Okay, we got that one little Allen. What size is that, everybody? 3 millimeter? No. Definitely a 4 millimeter. Or not. And by definitely a 4, what I meant was definitely the 4.5. Unless it's a 5. And then I mean 5. And what the heck would that have been used for? This hole here. It looks like maybe they drilled it out, huh? Dang it. thought I'd give you a little update. Got the motor all done and all that. I'm still working on trying to get that out, rather working on the courage to get that out. I need to heat it and the impeller and just try to pry it out so we can get the water pump out and do all the seals on that. I put the engine pieces all in a parts washer over at my friend's machine shop, and we cleaned up pretty much everything. And then I brought it home and did some of the little wire wheel thing. I think I got some footage I'll show you to clean up the head and the fins. And then my friend Paul was able to do a stone hone on these. And geez, my hand looks gross. And so we got some cross hatching. And I got the gasket surfaces all cleaned. We got all the ports cleaned for the oil passages. And yeah, everything's looking really nice. Got most of the corrosion out from all the water jacket, which was really tough. Looked like the person that had this just left it with tap water and no coolant. Anyways, we got these all cleaned up, most of the rust off. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to repaint this. Not that big of a deal, but I'm waiting to see how the water pump goes. Because if I mess up the case half, then I have to replace both of the case halves. That was tough to say. Because they're bore drilled, you know, they're mated and then they're drilled, so you can't just replace one half of an engine. I guess that's a bad idea. I just learned that from my friend Paul. Thanks, Paul. The crank, I'm still losing sleep over. I don't know what to do. Part of me says just wash it with gas and then blow dry it real good with the air compressor hose and then just put it back in. The connecting rods are within spec. There's no wear on the inside, and they barely move. The problem is the seals. Obviously, I could probably get these in ones off pretty easily, but it's these inner ones, and I don't want to put the whole bike back together and have it not work right. Or be tough to start, you know, something like that. So anyways, that's where we're at with things. And yeah, everything's coming along nicely. Luckily, that parts washer got most of the gunk out. Yeah, I also found out that this side had a bolt shoved in this hole. And there was a tab broke off of the water pump cover, and there was just a bolt there. Well, I guess the water pump cover has a little thing there that leaves an opening for that to weep, and it's some sort of a weep hole for that banjo fitting that comes off the water pump that connects down to that hole. So the person that had it blocked off, shouldn't have blocked it off, I guess. If the seal on the water pump housing, I'm assuming, if the seal goes bad and lets coolant or water through, then I guess it would come up through that banjo fitting, through that hose, go down to that banjo fitting on that hose, and then that would just come out the bottom of the motor and weep out, so that way the coolant wouldn't accidentally spill into the lower case with your oil. I could be totally wrong on all that, but I can't figure out any other reason why this would have been open. And every picture I see, you know, it's what it shows, that that's not threaded, but it's open. So anyways, I'm waiting to see how that goes and the removal of the impeller. I'm going to do that right now. We're going to heat that up, try to pop that off, and then get the whole water pump assembly out. If that goes well, then I'll buy the rebuild kit for that. It's going to need new seals at least, so we can make sure it doesn't leak, and then we'll be able to finish up all this corrosion. I'm going to leave that one just natural because I don't think this was ever painted, so that'll just stay that cast color. And then the top part, we'll go ahead and finish cleaning the corrosion out of there, degrease it real well, and then we'll just get some sort of a silver or gray paint that matches. I don't think I'm going to do the assembly on this video because I have too many parts to make or to buy. So yeah. Thanks for watching.